What happens when you see what other people refuse to? When you can look right through their social masks and sense the truth they're trying so hard to hide. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung saw this ability as both a rare gift and a profound danger. The risk wasn't losing your mind, but something much lonelier, the soul-crushing isolation that comes from seeing what others can't stand to face. For Jung, this was one of the most unsettling parts of our psychology. Some people are just wired to notice things. They pick up on unspoken tensions, hidden motives, and secret pain long before anyone else does. But instead of being thanked, they often pay a heavy price for it. Their clarity can destabilize friendships, families, and even whole communities, because it threatens the comfortable illusions holding everything together. You've always felt it, haven't you? That flicker of insecurity in a confident person's voice. The real motive hidden behind a kind gesture. You used to think it was a superpower. But lately, it feels more like a curse. You see the bitter compromise behind a friend's promotion, or the deep loneliness in someone who won't stop bragging about their perfect relationship. You didn't ask for this ability, and you can't just turn it off. But what if the real danger isn't what you see in them, but what they see when they look at you? To have this kind of perception is to live in a world that just feels different. You're constantly navigating unseen emotional currents and information. While everyone else takes a conversation at face value, you hear the subtle gaps between their words and their feelings. Jung might say your awareness has become differentiated, it's separated from the collective herd, allowing you to see with unnerving clarity. But this gift carries a heavy burden. You're chronically misunderstood. People call you too intense, too sensitive, or accuse you of overthinking everything. These labels aren't just insults, they're defense mechanisms. They come from people who are deeply uncomfortable with the truth you reflect back at them. Society runs on unspoken agreements, a collective deal to ignore certain things for the sake of social harmony. By simply seeing the truth, you break that deal. You become a disruptive force, not because you're trying to cause trouble, but because your perception is just that honest. This leads to a deep and painful kind of isolation. Jung wrote about how a person's greatest strength, their superior function, can paradoxically become the source of their deepest suffering by setting them apart from others. You become an island of awareness in an ocean of denial. This isn't just about feeling lonely at a party, it's an existential solitude. As Jung himself said, if a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. But it goes deeper than just feeling alienated. There's a more active danger. Jung's crucial insight was that people with this kind of perception don't just feel alone, they become targets. They become a blank screen where others project their own deepest, darkest, and most denied inner conflicts. This is the work of shadow projection. In Jungian terms, the shadow is the part of our unconscious that holds everything we deny about ourselves, our insecurity, our greed, our shame, our anger. We all have one, and the less we look at it, the bigger and darker it gets. Instead of facing our own shadow, it's so much easier to project it onto someone else, criticizing them for the very flaws we refuse to see in ourselves. When you, the perceiver, see someone's hidden insecurity, you are seeing their shadow. Your very presence acts like a mirror, reflecting a truth they've spent a lifetime avoiding. And most people would rather shatter the mirror than look at their own reflection. That tension you feel when you walk into a room. It's not in your head. It's the collective unconscious recognizing that you see what's been buried. This is why your perception can provoke such a hostile reaction. You aren't being attacked for something you did, but for what you represent. You become the scapegoat, blamed not for causing the problem, but for revealing it. People will call you judgmental to avoid their own self-criticism. They'll call you negative to avoid their own pessimism. The attack is a desperate defense, an attempt to break the mirror so they can go back to their comfortable illusions. If you're living this, it's easy to feel like you're broken. You might even start to believe the projections and think you are the problem. But Jung's work offers another way forward, not to get rid of your perception, but to integrate it. The danger isn't the vision itself, but failing to understand it and build the strength to hold it. The first step is a radical reframing. Your perception isn't a psychological flaw, it's an advanced form of consciousness. You aren't damaged, you might just be one of the pioneers of consciousness Jung believed were always the first to sense the cultural crises and collective shadows that society isn't ready for. This requires you to hold what Jung called the tension of the opposites. You have to learn to live with a painful paradox. Your greatest gift is also your greatest burden. To deny your perception is to betray yourself, but to be consumed by it can lead to a breakdown. The goal isn't to fix yourself, but to build the inner fortitude needed to handle this awareness. It starts with learning to tell the difference between what's your stuff and what you've absorbed from others. This is how you start building boundaries that aren't walls, but filters, allowing you to engage with the world without being destroyed by it. Jung's ultimate answer to this problem is a lifelong journey called individuation. Individuation is the process of becoming who you truly are by integrating the conscious and unconscious parts of yourself into a stable, functioning whole. It's about shedding the fake social mask, the persona, while also learning to navigate the powerful forces of the unconscious. For the person who sees what others don't, this journey isn't a choice, it's essential for survival. It's how you turn overwhelming perception into grounded wisdom. A huge part of this path involves consciously dealing with the shadow, not just in others, but in yourself. As a famous Jungian idea goes, knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. By confronting your own repressed traits, you stop being a blank screen for everyone else's projections. You build a solid sense of self that can't be so easily shaken by what other people think. Individuation transforms this ability from a source of isolation into a source of purpose. An integrated person doesn't need everyone else to get it because they found their own center. They can participate in the world without being consumed by it. They become, as Jung might say, a carrier of consciousness for the world. Their purpose is no longer to fit in, but to be a bridge, to see the wounds others don't know exist and to speak the truths that others can't. This journey from being a target to being a transformer isn't easy. It takes courage and a willingness to embrace the very thing that has caused you so much pain. But you don't have to walk it completely alone. If this sounds like your life, share your story in the comments. When has your perception felt like both a gift and a curse? Hearing from you helps others on the same path feel seen. And if you want to keep exploring the depths of the human mind, subscribe for more on how to turn our psychological burdens into our greatest strengths. The danger of seeing what others don't is real. It's the danger of being isolated, attacked, and misunderstood. But inside that danger is an even greater potential, the potential for profound wisdom, unshakable authenticity, and a life that truly means something. Your perception isn't a curse that needs to be cured, it's a calling that needs to be answered. It's an invitation to walk the path of individuation and become the whole, integrated person you were always meant to be. As the saying goes, no tree can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. Your journey through the shadows, both your own and others, is what gives you the strength to finally reach for the sky. You're not too much. You're not crazy. You are just rare. And the world is waiting for you to learn how to use your gift.